Welcome to Ayaan Medical Lecture. In this video, we will discuss about the cranial nerve one by one. Brain is a portion of central nervous system that located within the skull. It functions as a primary receiver, organizer, and distributor for information for the body. It has a right half and left half, each of which is called a hemisphere. The brain is made by the white matter and gray matter. There is a covering layer of the brain which is called a meninges, which cover the brain and spinal cord, the dura mater, pia mater, and acanthoid mater, which protect the spinal cord and the brain. Some of these nerves are the motor and some are the sensory nerves. So let's begin with the first one. So the first cranial nerve is the olfactory nerve, which is a sensory nerve. It will receive the smelling senses. It is present in the nose for the detection of smelling. The second cranial nerve is the optic nerve, which is also the sensory nerve, which receives the signal from the retina. The fourth cranial nerve is the trochlear nerve, which rises from the midbrain. It also supplies to the muscle of superior oblique, the muscle of eye. But the third one is the oculomotor nerve, which is the third cranial nerve. It is a motor nerve that supplies the mostly of the eye muscle. The fifth cranial nerve, which is called the trigeminal, which is a very big nerve. It is originated from the pons and the midbrain. It is sensory also the motor nerve controlling the mastication. There is some branch of the trigeminal, V1, V2 and V3. It supplies to the temporal, the maxilla and the mandibular of the face. The sixth cranial nerve is the obtuse nerve. It is a motor nerve which innervates to the lateral muscle of the eye. The seventh cranial nerve is the facial nerve. It is originated from the pons. The eighth cranial nerve is the vestibulocochlear nerve, which detects the hearing and present in air. The ninth cranial nerve is the glissopharyngeal nerve. It is originated from the medulla. It is a motor for the parotid gland, and it will supply to the 1/3 part of the tongue. The ninth was the glissopharyngeal nerve. The facial nerve will innervate to the sublingual, submandibular, the tongue, and also it will supply to the lacrimal gland, which is a tear gland. The 10th cranial nerve is the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve. It is a motor and a sensory to the many organs in our body, especially the digestive organ. It originates from the medulla oblongata. The 11th cranial nerve is the accessory nerve. It originates from the medulla. It is a motor nerve for the two important muscles, the SCM muscle and the trapezius muscle. And the last cranial nerve is the 12th cranial nerve. It is a hypoglossal nerve, which is a motor nerve. It originates from the medulla and it innervates to the or supply to the tongue. So this was the cranial nerve, and now let's talk about the neuron. Neuron is a structural and functional unit of the brain. Neurons are a communication cells. They receive signals and also send out information or signals. Here is a typical structure of neuron. The neuron has different parts, and we will start with one by one. Here is another neuron which communicate to the first one. So neuron have different parts. The first part of the neuron is a dendrite. which receive the signals. The cell body is soma, the axon hillock. This one is the axon hillock. The axon and the myelin sheet. The myelin sheet is a pretty substance that cover and protect the nerve. It help in the insulation and speeding up the signals. So the input signal is received by the dendrite, which is first to the cell body for integration, and then that will be into the output signal and into the synaptic terminal. Where in the synaptic terminal the neurotransmitter is released for the communications. So here is a synaptic terminal. The another neuron which is communicated with the first one. So this neuron is unmyelinated. The target cell in this case is another neuron, but this neuron is different and that it is unmyelinated. That means the propagation of the impulse along the axon is much slower. So the unmyelinated neuron is slower than the myelinated neurons. The input signal which will pass to the soma and then it will be into the synaptic terminal to pass to the target cells. So there will be the release of neurotransmitter. It will target to a particular cells. The neurotransmitter is synthesized by the ribosome and developed into plasmic reticulum. The Golgi affairs for the packaging and package to the vesicle. Now let's zoom that area where the two neurons are communicated and know much about the communication. The synaptic terminal is that where all these signals will into the synaptic terminal where the information or signals is passed to a target cells. Here the two neurons are communicated. The first one is a free synaptic membrane. Here we have a part of synaptic terminal of the first neuron and it will free synaptic membrane. And here is a part of the dendrite of the second neuron and its fourth synaptic membrane. The free synaptic and the fourth synaptic membranes. The gap between the first and the second neuron is the synaptic cleft. And the end of the synaptic terminal, the region like here we find many mitochondria and vesicle containing which called a neurotransmitter. These neurotransmitter release for the communication process. The vesicle which containing the neurotransmitter. What happened when a signal rises at the dendrite of the neuron? It will create an impulse that will carry information and propagation toward the terminal. This impulse is an action potential. It will cause the vesicle to release the neurotransmitter into the synaptic terminal. Synapse is a specialized junction at which a neural cells communicate with the target cells. At a synapse, a neuron releases a chemical transmitter that diffuses across a small gap and activates special site called receptor on the target cell.